He was once the world's most famous male model. Even his looks were household names. Le Tigre, Magnum, and of course, Blue Steel. But that was a long, long, long time ago.
Old LeMay?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to What the Flick. I'm Matt Atchity. This is Alonzo Duralde. That's Christy Lemire. We are here to talk about a movie that should have been ridiculously, really, really good-looking, Zoolander 2.
Yes. Zoolander 2 is a totally needless sequel to Zoolander. 15 years later, Derek Zoolander, played once again by Ben Stiller, is in hiding. Something terrible has happened to him. He's in self-imposed exile. And Hansel, his best friend and former runway mate, played by Owen Wilson, is also in hiding. And the two get called together to go to Rome to solve a possible crime and walk the runway again and maybe bond with Zoolander's kid. It's a lot of cameos and it's not very funny. Take a look.
Are you sure Zoolander is the right man to help us?
Hey, handsome! Ah! What the hell is your problem?
God help us all. You were amazing.
I'm sorry, I can't understand a word that you're saying.
Derek, toss me the knife. You got it!
There's only one criminal mastermind who could be behind all this.
Prison changed me! I am bad to the core now! Todd, where's my goddamn latte? Ah!
This movie is a very early contender for me for worst movie of the year.
This happens rarely, but I was in a screening room where you could tell beforehand people were excited, they were ready to laugh, they were ready to have a good time, and like the first maybe couple of minutes, they were finding things that were funny, and then you could just feel the air draining out of the room, and by the end of it, we were all just like, oh God, this is not working.
Yeah, we talked last week about 50 Shades of Black and how merely acknowledging the existence of a pop culture phenomenon does not equate
Making
to
a joke about it.
This
Yeah.
is that over and over and over again. Yes.
And Ben Stiller's better than that.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to rely on that level of writing. He's a better writer than that.
And the
Justin
four
Theroux,
writers involved,
Nicholas
including
Stoller.
Justin Theroux and Nicholas Stoller, should have come up with better shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like, oh, look, we have Anna Wintour. Oh, look, we have Mark Jacobs. Oh, look, we have Tommy Hilfiger. And they just show up and they be themselves.
Yeah.
And that alone is supposed to be hilariously funny. And it's just not.
And even the variations of, oh, look, Derek Zoolander is really stupid. They don't build that at all. They don't even come up with necessarily funny variations.
Oh, hey, I remember the small phone in the first movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Right, a million callbacks.
The callbacks. There's, they'll introduce a character like Kristen Wiig's character, and the joke is she has like crazy surgery face, her feet don't touch the floor, and she has a nutty, like vaguely European weird accent.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
And then every time they trot her out, it's that joke again. And then like she'll disappear for a while, and it's like, how about a new joke when she arrives again? You know.
Here is how unfunny this is. Even the scenes with Kristen Wiig and Will Ferrell aren't funny.
No.
Like you see, there's expectation. Speaking of expectation, the moment that they finally see each other, it's like, okay, this is gonna get good now. And even that's not funny. The thing they do is just kind of gross and stupid, but not really funny.
The only time you start to see signs of life in this movie is when Will Ferrell does his rant at the end, similar to the rant in the first movie, where he starts calling shit out. And that's the first time that it's like, oh, okay, maybe somebody tried something in this. Because you kind of feel like maybe he's improving, right? And he's just calling people out. And he's kind of just like talking shit about people. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's not great, but it's so much better than anything else happening in the movie.
I want to look up the name of the young actor who plays
Derek Jr.
Zoolander's son. Yeah, because really he's the only reason that the number I'm going to give it is the number that it is. I thought he was kind of likable and had nice a natural quality about him.
He was a good foil for Stiller. It was not to the level of 50 Shades of Black where I was just kind of going, I guess that's a joke, but it's after after Billy Zane disappears from the movie, and that's like 10 minutes in, it kind of falls apart. Not that Billy Zane is what's holding it together, but that's your marker, like, you know.
Cyrus Arnold, by the way. Right, and that's like one of the jokes too, is like, oh, look, it's Billy Zane in this random place. You know, like that's supposed to be funny in and of itself.
Right.
I want to ask you about All. I want to ask you about the Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, boy.
Vaguely trans.
Yeah, well, you know, that All turned up in the trailers, and people got very angry about that. And I wonder if they sort of crazily backpedaled.
Meet the biggest supermodel in the whole world. This is All.
Are you like a male model or a female model?
All is all.
I think he's asking, do you have a hot dog or a bun?
Because All turns up, and the premise is that you don't know if All is male or female. And the way it's about a scene and a half with this character. And before you can tell, is the movie making fun of this character for being gender ambiguous, or is the movie making fun of Derek and Hansel for being so dense that they don't get it? Then All's gone.
Right, who knows?
Yeah. Like
All is lost.
All is lost, exactly.
No, you really don't know what their intention is here with this character.
And so
Well, their intention certainly wasn't to be funny.
well, yeah, that's went out right out the window. Yeah, so there's not even enough of that character in the movie to be offensive because it's so vaguely presented that, like, wait, is this like a Tropic Thunder level? You're like, we're tweaking the idea of, or the why that people would be offended by this but shouldn't, or whatever. They don't even go there because it's over so fast. Like the movie hasn't committed to anything.
Yeah, though the one thing I did laugh at, one of the few things I did laugh at was the facial expressions, the very slight variations of facial expressions that Benedict Cumberbatch is doing when he's sizing them up. And it's so subtle and it's so weird. Like that kind of cracked me up. Not that I knew what the point was, but at least it was just unsettling enough that it made me laugh.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we're gonna cherry pick things that weren't terrible here, I liked Kyle Mooney and
things that aren't terrible.
Kyle Mooney has this eruption of like trend gibberish that's constantly coming out of his mouth that makes no sense.
Don Atari.
It's Don Atari.
Who's he supposed to be? Like, what is that guy supposed to be?
I'm sure like some sort of street fashion, you know, guy. I'm not
Banksy.
versed enough to know that. I don't know. And then and there's a 9/11 joke in the opening credits that I thought was like, whoa, that's ballsy, because it ties into how the first Zoolander came out right after 9/11, and it was like, ooh, is this a good time to have a comedy about the assassination of the Malaysian prime minister? And it comes and goes really fast, and a lot of people probably won't even catch it. But
I was thinking about that too.
I was like, wow, okay. And I thought maybe we'd get that level of chutzpah throughout, but no, that was it.
It's safe. Like, haha, fashion is dumb. Actually, I remember beyond just the assassination plot, I was in New York on 9/11, and I was covering how movies responded to that. They physically erased the towers.
Right.
Right. That was one of the things with Zoolander that I remember, was because it was 15 years ago. There's a scene where there's a graveyard in Brooklyn, and the towers are in the background, and they took them out.
I remember
digitally, and that was one of the examples of how folks tried to be tactful. I don't know. So yeah, I guess maybe this is an acknowledgement of that.
Yeah, I guess, and I just thought, okay, well that's bold, you know, but that's
Right, the one bold thing that they've done in this movie, and this movie really suffers from having just seen Deadpool, right? Where Deadpool is so, they go for the jugular, and they're so brave with some of the stuff that they're doing.
And the jokes land in that movie.
And they land. And this one, like, it's just so by the numbers. I mean, you're better off, you really literally are better off watching Zoolander again.
Yeah.
Hey, oh my God, that's not a great recommendation there. Also, I gotta say, there's always a weird thing with Ben Stiller. There's like a weird self-aggrandizement no matter what character he's playing or what kind of movie he's in. I think about the Walter Mitty movie he did, where it's all like, look how awesome I am. I can skateboard down hills. Even here, where he's playing this total idiot character that we're all meant to laugh at, you know, he still succeeds. He still gets the beautiful woman at the end. You know, there's still like, I'm Ben Stiller and I'm going to come out on top no matter who I'm playing, that I always find kind of, I don't know, distasteful, obnoxious.
It's a little grating, more so in Walter Mitty than here, but yeah, that's a thing he does.
There you go. So what are our numbers then?
Usually 2.5. You know, there's like a few every so often there'd be something, but for the most part, this is a slog.
Yeah.
I think my number's too high.
You want to change it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go to a 2. This movie's terrible.
Okay, I'm saying 1.2.
1.9.
Okay. Thank God.
It's in the low 30s on the tomato meter at the moment.
I laughed more at 50 Shades of Black.
Ooh.
I laughed more at Dirty Grandpa.
There you go. These are all ringing.
I laughed more in Carol.
Bye.